Hi everyone. In this step, we're going to learn how to identify our study region. So you should be able to get to the landing page for ArcGIS. And if this is our first map, we're going to click on Map. If we're going to reopen the map that we've been working on, then we would click on Content and look for the name of the map that we had created earlier. So for now, because I'm starting a new map, I'm going to click on Map. And the first thing you should consider is what type of base map you should be using. There's a variety of different base maps already built into the program. If you don't see this list coming up, then you are not using the education version of the software. You should have entered the program using going through D2L and clicking on the ArcGIS link in there. If you've created your own public account, just be forewarned, you only get 30 days and then it disappears. So it should look like this. And what we need to decide is what type of map we're going to use, either imagery with labels or a street label. I'm going to go with streets for now, just so that I can figure out approximately where the major streets are in my community. Now, your community is going to be in Niagara. I'm picking a community outside of Niagara so that it's different, but the same sort of concept. So I've picked a small town of only 2,000 people, and I want to find a study area that's about 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So if I use a little measure tool here, I've got these things here, and this ruler will tell me in kilometers the distance. So if I go from Arthur Street here to this part of Arthur Street, I can see that that's 1 kilometer. I'm just going to double click at the end, and then I'm going to go from here to here, and that's about 1 kilometer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this part of town as my study area. Now, typically I would want an artery road on this side and an artery road on this side, but because the community is so small, it doesn't have that. But if you're picking a major community like Welland, Niagara Falls, or St. Catharines, you'll easily be able to find four major roads that would bound your community. But I'm using this small, very small community just in case you're in a much smaller place. Now, if you're out in the countryside, you're obviously going to want to pick a neighborhood close to the school that you're at so that you're familiar with it. You can't pick the countryside because it's just not going to work out for you. So let's draw our study area. So what we want to do is click on Add, and then we want to do Add Map Notes. Basically, Map Notes gives us all the tools so that we can draw on the map. We want to, this is a layer that we are going to create, and we want to give our layers an appropriate name. So in this case, we're going to call it Study Area, because it's just going to show what part of the community we're going to be studying. So when I click Create, you'll see all of my tools appear on the side here. And if I click on any of these, it'll allow me to use those tools. And when I double click, it's going to create this little pop-up at the end. And if I've made a mistake, I can always click Delete. So just remember that when you are not using your tools, let's say you want to view something and you've clicked on details and the tools have disappeared, in order to get those tools to reappear, just simply click on Edit. Okay, so these are the tools for working on the study area layer. So let's click on Area, and I'm going to go straight down Arthur Street here, and then I'm going to go to the very edge of town, down Jesse Street, and double click, and it's going to shade in the whole area. So that's why I used the area tool and not the line tool. The line tool would have just drawn the outside of the box, but not shaded in the study area. Now I don't like this color, it's rather drab, so let's click on change symbol, and that's going to allow us to fill it with a different color. Choose any color you like, maybe blue, maybe purple. I'm just going to use the shade of red, And I'm also going to use an outline. So the outline, as the name suggests, is the outline of the figure that I've just drawn. I'm just going to bump it up to about 4 for width. So when I click on OK, you'll see that it changes the box. It's got that nice thick black outline, and it's got a transparent red fill to it. Now, I'm just going to change the title of this so that it's got an appropriate name, like study area. We'll call this East Harrison. I'll just put in my description box. This is my study area. So you're going to want to describe where this is located within your community, and then you'll also want to describe where it is within the Niagara region. So how do we do that? Well, if I just click on this in that description box, I can add that information into there. This is located. And remember, I've chosen a place specifically not in Niagara so that nobody's going to be copying it and using it for their project. So now we want to find the latitude and longitude of an identifiable feature. So downtown, there's a beautiful old post office that's sort of a very popular feature within the town. So I can zoom in with the street labels. I can't see that building, so I'm just going to switch over my base map to the imagery, and I'm just going to turn that layer off so that I can see for a second here. So if I click on details and then content, this allows me to turn layers on and off. So when I uncheck this box, I can now see all of the buildings without any sort of obstruction here. And I gotta find the old post office, which I think this is the old post office right here. So I'm going to turn that layer back on. I'm going to click on edit so that my tools will appear. And I'm going to put a push pin where that feature is. So to figure out the latitude and longitude, I'm just going to close this for a second. And back up here with my measure tool, I'm going to click on my latitude and longitude button. And then I'm going to click on this. And you'll see up here, it tells me the latitude, which is in north. And I'm going to ignore the negative sign there because negative is just another way of saying west. And it's at 80 degrees west. Now, you'll see that that's not where I want to put the information. So I want to just click on my little point there. So I will type my information in, 43 point. There we are. Now that we've completed our layer, what we want to do is save our information. This program will not automatically save, so you should be saving regularly. So click on the Save button. Never click Save As, just simply click Save. If it hasn't been saved before, it'll ask you to put some information in. So I'm going to and if I click Save now, it's not going to work because it wants you to include a tag. A tag is just a way of sorting out your maps. It's like having a file cabinet with the letters in it so that all the A files are together and all the B files are together. So I'm just going to put the course code in here, CGC1D. It doesn't matter what you put in there. You could put Canada, but just make sure you hit enter so that it turns sort of this bluish color. And then when you click on map, oh, by the way, I have file folders. You're probably not, so don't worry about that part. Um, when I click save, it's now going to save.